Today's guest is a man on a mission. Rob Holmes is the co-founder and president of Forge Now, a game-changing training company that's flipping the script on how people enter the trades. While the rest of the country pushes college debt and empty degrees, Rob's been on the front lines helping real, hardworking people, that's parents, young folks, get trained fast, get certified, and get into meaningful work that actually pays. I can't wait for you to hear what they're doing. It is innovative, and you're going to be surprised that no one else is doing it like this. It's pretty crazy. He's not just filling jobs, he's changing lives, and today we're going to go deep on what's broken in the system, what it really takes to build a skilled workforce, and why the trades just might be America's best kept secret. Let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Rob. Thank you for making some time to sit with us and have a chat today. Appreciate you.
My pleasure, Dean. I look forward to it.
Me too. I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks with the team, and you have a lot of incredible information that can help a lot of people. More importantly, the way you see things and the way you operate at Forge Now is a little different than I've heard before. So you opened my eyes to some things I didn't even know about. So I want to get into all that. And I guess the first thing I want to do is, what the hell happened to America's skills? Like, why are there 9 million open trade jobs? What's going on?
Well, we didn't get here by accident. We the people, we spent 3 generations telling everybody, you have to go to college, you have to go to college, you have to go to college. In fact, we're going to load you up on cheap debt and make sure that you can pay the tuition, even though the tuition keeps rising every year. And we didn't hold these schools accountable. We didn't hold schools accountable for attendance. We didn't hold schools accountable for grades. We didn't hold schools accountable for graduation rates or placement rates. We really went about dismissing the respect that we should have for the trades. So you fast forward 3 generations and we have a supremely educated country that has no skills. We took automotive out of the classrooms. We took shop out of the classrooms. We took home economics out of the classrooms. We took basic skills where young people can't change a tire. Young people can't change the oil in their car. Young people can't do the most elementary craft skills. So, we didn't get here by an accident, and here we are. And we've got a situation in the country now where it really is a demographic time bomb. Because right now, most folks wait 2 or 3 days to have someone come fix their air conditioning or come fix their electricity or their plumbing. We're going to be waiting 2 or 3 weeks. That's just the math. Wow. 50% of the people in the trades today are going to be on Social Security in 10 years. So this is just math where our quality of life, our things that we've been used to getting fixed relatively quickly, it's going to take weeks to get them fixed.
So like there's a crazy ripple effect that starts all the way back to removing shop class. Like if I look back to what you just said, they took it out of the schools. And so now so many young people don't even think that that's a pathway. It's not even in their thinking. And so you're opening my eyes to that. Sounds like the issue is multi-tiered, but it goes all the way back to our young people and what we're doing at the school level and how we're preparing and educating and the mindset we're giving them around skilled trade jobs and what that means. So that's a fascinating thing. It seems to me that schools aren't valuing the things they need to value in order to fix this problem. Where are they focused and why? Because it seems obvious to me when I hear you say this, but you would think there's a lot of really smart people in positions to do something about this at the school level. Why aren't they changing this?
Well, I want to be clear in that we are not anti-college. If you think about 3 paths, these are big fairways. Three big paths for young people. It can be college, it can be a career, it could be the military or some other form of service. Those 3 paths are all great, and we should be telling young people all 3 of those paths are great. Find what's best for you. In addition, these 3 paths are not mutually exclusive. You can do one or two or all three of those. So, I think the message to young people is go find something that is fulfilling, go find something that is sustainable, go find something that's enriching, but also something where you're having a community impact. I think that's important. So whether that's college, career, or military, really try to find what's best for you. It's not a one size fits all. It's not, well, you have to go to college. That's just not true. You can go to college. That can be a great outcome for you. That can be a wonderful path for you. You can go to college after you serve in the military. You can go to college after you're in the trades for a little bit. You can be in the trades for a little bit and then go to college. These are not mutually exclusive paths, but I really think that, we as a country, we've got to appreciate the the importance of being able to fix things, just the psychology of it, being able to have impact, being able to replace, service, install. There's something that is part of our country's ethos that if we can't fix things, we have a problem. So that's what people in the trades do. They fix stuff. They get stuff done. They fix things. That's again, just psychologically, that's a great way to live your life.
Yeah, that's in my own life as a dad, there's a lot of that stuff that I may have learned as a kid that went missing in my own house to teach the kids. It just is not part of the conversation as much these days. So I see where even I'm falling short here around the house. You mentioned, yes, yeah, I know you're inspiring me, Rob, to make the adjustments. In fact, I was thinking right now, I need to go make sure the girls know how to change the tire.
It's a safety issue.
That's right. Absolutely.
Safety issue. It's also a self-esteem issue.
You're right.
It's like learning how to swim. I mean, that learning how to swim is a safety issue. Yes. And learning things and accomplishing things, that's good for our country's ethos.
I totally agree. You mentioned the military a few times. I have buddies that leave service and want to transition back to civilian life. And one of the biggest challenges is finding work. Like, how do I acclimate back into the workforce and what does that look like? I know you guys align your training with some military training type philosophies and thinking. Why is it that you guys focus on that? And what can vets start thinking as they transition out that might be helpful in your particular pathway?
Well, that's really what differentiates Forge Now from the market. When we first founded the company, we looked at what are the traditional paths to the trades, and you can get there through the community college universe. That's a work study part-time format that maybe is great for certain people. If you have certain household responsibilities where you can't go full-time and you need to do it in some sort of work study balance, that's one path. The challenge with that path is it takes so long. You could be in school for 2 years before you get your associate degree when you really need to be making some money. So, but that can be fine. And that's one of the historical paths. Other path is the legacy VOTEC schools. And the legacy VOTEC schools are typically night schools. They typically have a format where you're working all day long and then you're going to school at night. And they typically take a year, 18 months, 24 months to get through because you're only going for a couple of hours at night. So again, that just takes so long. And while you're doing that, you're working long days. Really, the way most people have gotten into the trades is on the job training, where a contractor who needs the talent now says to the guy in shorts and flip flops on the street corner, "On my truck, I'll teach you how to do this and I'll start paying you today." Well, that sounds good, except he's not going to pay you much because you're going to come in as a helper, and a helper is someone who doesn't know the right end of a wrench. And they're going to get paid anywhere from 10, 12, 13, 14 bucks an hour. So it's not a great deal for the talent because that's not a sustainable wage. It's also not a great deal for the employer because that person is a distraction. That person doesn't know, right from left as far as, the trades. That person also a safety risk because he's had no OSHA training. He's a regulatory risk. He's had no EA training dealing with hazardous materials. He's also an attrition risk because that person who really doesn't know what he's getting into A month later says, hey, boss, you didn't tell me I had to get up early to work. You didn't tell me I had to wear a uniform. You didn't tell me I had to crawl up on a rooftop. You didn't tell me I had to crawl through, an attic. You didn't tell me this. You didn't tell me that. I quit. So what contractors told us is they lose about 50% of their people because of those reasons. So we said, none of that is working, or there wouldn't be 9 million open trades jobs out there. So none of that is working. So who's really good at training? Well, the military is. Well, how does the military train? The military trains with hands-on, intense, modular, full-time training where they equip, train, credential, and place you. So we said, well, let's just do that. Let's just copy the military format for training. So literally what we've done is we have copied basic training from the military. So when we began, we're very intentional about our terminology, and because the terminology really drives culture. So we don't have a campus, we have a training center. We don't have class, we have training. We begin training at 0700 because in the real world, you get up early, you go to work. We trained 1600. We call it 1600 because in the real world, you work a full day. We give everybody 30 minutes off for lunch. We have a mess hall style chow line where we feed everybody every day, but it's regimented. You've got 30 minutes to eat, get back to training, because in the real world, that's what your boss is going to expect. We don't have students. We have candidates, or we have trainees. We don't have teachers. We have instructors or trainers. So we're very, very intentional about our terminology and driving that culture. We put everybody in a complete uniform. Number one, for safety reasons, because we can't have somebody, come in and put some flip-flops. We got to have proper uniform to operate in the lab. Number two, we want you to have a professional appearance. Your employer is going to expect that as well. Number three, we want you to feel like you're a part of something, whether it's a sports team or whether it's the military. You're part of something at Forge now. We issue everybody $1,000 worth of tools, a complete tool set. So unlike taking a job someplace where your employer is going to buy your tools and then take it out of your paycheck, tool set is part of the tuition with us. So what we end up producing is an apprentice level tech who's had the basic training. So in the trade world, you've got a helper who doesn't know anything. You've got an apprentice who has the basics. He needs supervision, but he has the basics. Then you have a journeyman who's been around the block, knows how to do things. But in certain states, that journeyman can't legally at least write business directly. And then you have a master who doesn't need supervision and can write business. Our graduates come out as apprentices. So the value creation is massive. Our program is Monday through Friday because that's the whole world. Our program is only 7 weeks long. So we're able to compress what we believe is 2 years of on-the-job training into 7 weeks. So we equip, train, credential, place, and we get you in the field working, making some real money.
That is life-changing for so many people. I know you and I talked about this a bit, specific to dads. So I'm a dad, so I can relate to this idea that college has failed so many of us. And I'm not here to badmouth college. A lot of people have done fantastic things with their degrees, but there are such a huge portion of folks that went there, collected debt, got a degree, and just can't find work. We're struggling to take care of our families. And when I hear you say that inside of 7 weeks, a dad that's trying to uplift his income and take care of his family, looking for work, can actually be skilled and credentialed and ready to just join the workforce and start making some money today, that could change entire families. I'd love to know, what does that look like? So I'm trying to make some extra money. What does that look like from an income perspective, from someone getting started, and what's possible?
So our average starting wage is about $25 an hour. Depends on where you want to work, depends on the market. But if you, just as a rule of thumb, if you think about 40 hours in the work week, which of course doesn't include overtime, and if you think about 50 weeks in the year, that's 2,000 hours in a year. So $25 an hour times 2,000 hours, it's $50,000. The average starting wage for a college graduate is about $56,000. The average time it takes today to get through a bachelor's degree program is 5.2 years. So under 4 years, it's 5.2 years. And the graduation rate, and of course, this, different in different schools, but just in broad strokes, is about 50% in college. So if you're in the 50% to graduate, it's going to take you over 5 years to get that degree. You spent who knows how much money getting that degree. Hundreds, 100,000, 200,000, 400,000. And then you come out making $55,000, $56,000 a year. In the trades, we graduate people in 7 weeks that come out making about that money.
Wow.
They've done it in 7 weeks. So, but again, this is not mutually exclusive. Go to the trades first, make some money, go get your degree. That's great. Go get your degree, then go to the trades. Instead of driving for DoorDash or babysitting or cutting lawns or working at a sandwich shop, whatever it may be, get a trade and make some real money. Make some real money during summers. Make some real money during your vacation time, and go get the degree. We think that that's great. We're working with several colleges now where our program will earn you college credit. So if you want to go pursue that degree, awesome. Be all you can be.
Amazing. That makes a lot of sense to me. What had you start this? Like, why go down this path of all the different things that you could be doing as an entrepreneur?
There were really two macro drivers, two macro assumptions. Now, one was there's not a million open trade jobs. Something's broken. There is an opportunity. Supply is not meeting demand, and it's on a massive scale, and it's all across the country. So one kind of fundamental assumption was demand exceeds supply. So if we can provide supply in a different manner than the past, we've got commercial opportunity. The second kind of macro assumption is we think there's going to be massive change with colleges and universities, massive change. And you pick up the newspaper and you see it almost every day. There's some article in there talking about it. Some of that's going to be driven from a regulatory standpoint. Some of it is economic, some of it is cultural, where you just had more and more families saying, I can't afford that, or it's not worth that. So you're seeing declining enrollment. Part of that is fewer people in the system, but a lot of that is households just saying, I'm not going to put my child in debt for this. I'm not going to go in debt for this. I'm not going to put my child in debt for this. Debt is economic slavery. And, to have a 20-something-year-old with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt it's economic slavery. That person never gets out of that. And it's my view, what we should be doing is instead of, forgiving these loans, we should be taxing the universities because they haven't had good student outcomes. At the end of the day, they took money and they produced a bad outcome and really no way to lipstick that. So instead of forgiving the loan for a borrower, tax the university and use that to repay the debt because the university didn't produce a good student outcome. Now, you said this, there are lots and lots and lots of fantastic people in that world doing great things. But as a universe, I think we can all agree the bloom is off the rose. So those were kind of the two macro assumptions. What we did not anticipate was the massive, massive fulfillment that we're getting because of the impact that we're having. We, in the last 3 years, we've trained over 1,300 technicians. We'll train between 600 and 700 this year. So we'll be at about 2,000 alumni. If you think about 2,000 techs, if they went on 4 service calls a day for 300 days out of the year, that's over 2 million households they've impacted. That feels really good.
That's amazing.
When we think about the 2,000 techs and our alumni, we've changed their lives. We've launched their careers. We've had over 100 employers hire our graduates. We are a game changer for the industry. Again, supply has not met demand, and really kind of where the contractors have backfilled that is on the jump train. Jump in my truck. I'll teach you how to do this. And no, I'm going to lose you in a couple of months. I'm going to lose half of you in a couple of months. So we're a game changer for employers because we're putting new talent in the system. And historically, because there wasn't enough talent in the system. How does contractor A grow versus contractor B? Contractor A hires B's people. He just takes them from the competition. We're putting new people in the system. We're building capacity for the trades. We've impacted 2,000 households with our graduates, but we've really impacted, we believe, over a couple of million households with the service calls that they've gone on. That feels really good. So you ask, why do this? Well, we do it for that reason. I mean, we believe we're part of the solution for a generational impact in our country, where we have got to fix this. We the people have got to fix this. We've got to have more and more people in the trades who service things, install things, replace things, fix things. We have to. This is a demographic time bomb. And we think Fort now is part of that solution. What we didn't anticipate was just the massive fulfillment that we're getting from the social aspect of this, the social impact of this. I mentioned earlier that we have a military format. That's true. We also have really had a great experience serving the military community. And we're part of the Department of Defense program that helps service members as they're transitioning from active duty and let them get a good start when they leave. That's been a wonderful program. So we've trained over 500 veterans now, and that's really been great because, if a young person enlisted and did a 4-year enlistment and it's come to the end and he's decided not to re-enlist, probably doesn't know exactly what to do because it is an insular environment. He hadn't had a lot of free time, probably lived in the barracks on post, on base. So a lot of them, they want to go back home, wherever home is. Okay, well, what are you going to do there? I don't know, but I'm going to go back home. Okay. Or maybe they've met somebody and they want to stay close to where they're stationed. Well, what are you going to do? I don't know. So, what we try to explain to them is just how similar the trades are as far as working outdoors, working with your hands, working in teams, and having an impact. We refer to our candidates as first responders.
Love that.
When something's broken, when something needs to be replaced, when something needs to be serviced, when that family is leaving, a tech is going in. Someone in the trades is going into that home to fix it. And what a lot of folks, I mean, if it's happened to them, they get it. But if you lose HVAC, and we're here in Texas, and it was already about 97 degrees today, in a couple of months it's going to be over 100 for like 2 months. If AC goes out and you've got extended family living with you, or you've got maybe infant children, or you've got elderly extended family, this is a life-threatening situation. So you've got to get this fixed. But when you leave, a tech is going in, and you can't spend 2 nights, 3 nights, 5 nights in a hotel. It's just too expensive. So you've got to have help. If your electricity goes out, if there's something wrong with the power, and you lose a month's worth of groceries in that refrigerator, how do you catch up with that? I mean, this is the real world. And you and I both, we've had blessings beyond anything we can imagine. The real world, you lose a month's worth of groceries, that is a crisis. So we really think that our graduates are part of that solution, that when families are going out, a tech is going in, and you leave a situation better than you found it. So that's a pretty cool way to make a living. When you spend all day long going in when families are going out, and when you leave, you've left that situation better than you found it. That's a pretty good way to make a living.
Oh, no question. When you first told me that you call folks first responders, that it shifted my perception of that particular pathway. And I think that's important to change public perception from, backup plan to a frontline and a front running option for folks, rather than something that because the way it's looked at, I would imagine, by a lot of folks, is that doing the skills trade is where you go as a plan B. That's what I'm going to do as a plan B, because it's just the way it's been kind of placed in the public narrative. But when you say things like first responders, you say things like a family's going out and a tech is going in, to help that family from a big disaster. And I personally experienced that when we had mudslides hit our house. We lost all our power. We lost all this food. We were spending money on Airbnbs trying to get by. It was extremely stressful, draining savings. You don't have much, and we didn't have the help to come in there and help us out in our area without paying insane prices.
But it's going to get worse.
And it's going to get worse.
I'm saying it, but it's going to get worse. You know, when 50% of the people in the trades are on Social Security in 10 years, it's going to get worse, because instead of waiting a couple of days, you're waiting a couple of weeks. And that's not in the case of a natural disaster like the mudslides. That's what's going to become normal. Normal is going to be waiting 2 weeks to get your AC fixed. Now, the other side of this coin, and this is what we say to folks that want to come to Forge now and want to get into the trades, and you guys have a 30-year run of no competition. I mean, you can, the great thing about the trades is you work whenever you want, but you always know you have work. So it's great from a lifestyle standpoint. You want to coach Little League? Go for it. You want to teach Sunday school? Go for it. You want to take 2 weeks off and go fishing? Great. You know, you work whenever you want, but you always know you have work. So, you know, when you think about just how important the trades are to a community, drive up and down the streets of your neighborhood and count how many contractor vans there are outside houses. Every street will have one. And when you think about the impact that tradesman's having on those households, I mean, he's important to the community, which is why he does get involved in youth athletics. He does get involved in church worship. He does get involved in school boards. He's embedded. He's essential to that community. A few years back, we had the country had a debate on who's essential and who's not essential, which that's kind of a crazy thought, because if you're putting food on the table, you're essential. But the trades are shut down. The trades can't shut down. You can't offshore them. You can't outsource them. You can't AI them. A human being has to go into that home and fix whatever is wrong. So it's just a great career path. And when you think about, you know, if you ever wanted to own your career instead of rent your career, the fastest way, I believe, is in the trades. Because if you can learn the skills, if you can learn the craft, learn the skills, and you can, you know, buy yourself a set of tools and lease a van, you're in business. So it really is a great way to start a business or buy a business or own your own business instead of renting your career.
You said something that hit me. You said that this particular path requires humans in the home. You can't replace it with AI or something else. And I was going to ask you, how do you guys leverage technology? Do you incorporate AI in some way at the technician level or just at the company level? And if so, what does that look like? And is there any concern?
No, I think we see it as an opportunity. There's not a concern. It's an opportunity. So let me answer specifically about Forge now, and then I'll offer some thoughts about how it's going to impact the trades at large. With us, we're using technology more and more. We've got our curriculum team really working on that. We had a virtual reality demonstration where all of that stuff really is to enhance the real world hands on the equipment lab, but it can be a very positive way, whether it's for remedial training, whether it's for additional training. You know, people learn at different rates. You know, maybe one candidate needs to have a little bit extra, and he can get that through the VR, and maybe another candidate can go faster. So it's something that augments our curriculum, and it's something that is increasingly we're going to use it more and more. So that's an opportunity. In the trades at large, what you're going to see, what we believe you're going to see, is that AI will play a role. It'll play a role in diagnostics, such that if you've got a condenser that's about to go out, AI will play a role as far as reporting, hey, your condenser's about to go out. AI will play a role as far as dispatch. So it started with websites, but the days of calling, A1 Air saying, I need you to come out here, and speaking to a human being, and then they dispatch a tech to come to you. That's going away. That will all be AI as far as dispatch goes. So it's going to play a role. And if anything, it's probably going to make the customer experience more efficient, and it's going to make the contractor experience more efficient. But as far as we are so far from a robot going into a home to fix something. By the way, I think it's a long time before the household wants the robot going into the home.
Yeah.
Totally. So that's something, I mentioned that our work with the veteran community, which, we really feel great about. But 1% of the country serves in the military. So the non-veteran community is 99 times larger. So that's really, our focus long-term, because that's where we're going to have a bigger impact, frankly. We're always going to love training soldiers. We're going to love training the military. I'm a veteran, and that's always going to be a big part of the company. But the rest of the market's 99 times larger. So we train recent high school graduates. We train college false starts. We've trained formerly incarcerated, those that have been justice involved. We've trained new Americans, people that are new to our country. So really everybody else, and everybody else is 99 times bigger than the military. So it's just a great way to start a career and have a fulfilling, sustainable career where you can truly do it the rest of your life. As long as you want, you always have work.
Yeah, you make me feel like the statement I'm about to make is probably a safe thing to say, which is you can almost future-proof your income if you get involved right now and start learning right now, get trained, get certified, get prepared, get ready, and get to work. Because job security is there. You're not going to be replaced, but there's so many other things that you could be learning in school and getting degrees for that are going to be replaced before you even get to school. So it sounds like this pathway is pretty safe for folks.
100%. Plumbers have been around a long time. Electricians have been around a long time. You're exactly right. Some people look at it as an insurance policy. Yeah. This is a great story. We had a young guy come through our program. He had been a collegiate wrestler and had wrestled at the Division I level, highest level. He competed. After graduation, he got into mixed martial arts. He just enjoyed the combative, athletic sports. And one night he had a bad night. And he got into a bar fight, and he hit a guy, and the guy fell back, hit his head, and died.
Oh.
So he went to prison. He went to prison for manslaughter. And when he came out, he was in a reentry program that was just an excellent program. And he found us, and he came through our program. He sailed through the heating and cooling program. When we launched our electrical program, he said, I want to do that too. So he went right into the electrical program right afterward. We liked him so much, we hired him. We hired him as a lab tech. And he was terrific. I mean, just a model employee. And then one day he says, I'm leaving. And you can't leave. We love you. You can't leave. He said, I'm leaving. I want to coach. I want to have a private coaching business, coaching young kids with wrestling. I want to give back to the sport that gave me my education. And I'm also young enough where I want to compete again. I want to compete in MMA. I still got it in me, and I want to do that. But I could never follow my dreams. I could never chase my dreams if I didn't know I could always fall back on the trades. We were like, dude, you go do that. You're welcome here forever. And he's just a fantastic. I mean, this was a guy who, not long, a few years before, was in prison, and now he has got 2 trades. He's got his own business. He's competing on a national level in MMA, and he knows he can always fall back on the trades.
So it's wonderful. Yeah. So if I'm a guy at home right now, looking at a stack of bills and wondering how I'm going to tackle this mess for my family, and I hear this, I come across this episode, it seems, and I felt like, do I have to live in Texas? Because I would want to work with you immediately if I saw you. But two, how do I get started from zero? Like, where do I go?
Fortunate.com is where you go. Fortunate.com. And what you'll do is you'll fill out an admissions form and you'll get a call from one of our admissions coordinators. So that's step one. Go to forgenow.com and you won't have to make any decisions initially. You're gonna get a chance to talk to our admissions coordinator, learn about the different trades. We have 4 programs: heating and cooling, electrical wiring, plumbing, and facilities maintenance. And those are all a little bit different. And you're going to learn about all 4 and decide which one or more than one you want to go to. But step one is to go to forgenow.com. The second thing I would say is start today. I mean, you want to be making money. You want to be making money. You got all these bills to say you're tackling. They're not going to go away just looking at them. So this is a way to really get going. And unlike some other paths, this is the fastest way to get that skill and get into the market. The tuition is $12,000. We've been very thoughtful about that because when you think about your potential earnings afterward, that's something that you can work off pretty quickly. Interestingly, increasingly we've had folks come to us who are do-it-yourselfers, and they're flipping houses or they're just doing their own home improvement. You can save that money super fast, doing the work yourself. So that's another way to do it. But we have different ways to do it. We can do it through installments. We have financing partners. We're not in that business, but if you want to do it through a loan, you can do it that way. We have some really generous philanthropic partners. For certain passions or certain ministries they may have, they provide scholarship money. So depending on what your background is, you may qualify for something like that because we've had a generous partner to say, I want to fund people that have this background or have this addiction. We trained a lot of folks with substance abuse, and we really believe that this is part of their recovery because they have a purpose again. They have relevance, they have impact, and they're outdoors and they're working with their hands and they're not, feeling bad for themselves. They've got a mission. So, it really starts with forgenow.com, and our admissions coordinators will help you through the process.
I mean, that is beyond reasonable, especially when I compare it to the degree pathway and, 50, 80, 100, 200, $300,000. And then there's no placement support after that. You're kind of on your own to go out and try to get work. They have job fairs and different things, but for the most part, you're kind of on your own. If I look at what you just said, I mean, if you're really smart, depending on the financial situation of the individual, I mean, you could probably get that handled inside of a year, get that day out of there. You know what I mean? Of just work.
Some employers will pay. Some employers say, look, I got to have you. I'll knock out half your debt. Stay with me for 6 months. I'll pay off the rest. So you asked about Texas. We're based in Dallas, Texas. We're just north of DFW Airport, pretty centrally located. But we train people from all over the country, and we place people all over the country. So you do not have to be in Texas. Now,
Okay.
it would be a great place. And Texas is a very trades-friendly state. So it's something that if you do pursue the trades in Texas, you can have a great career. By the way, it's hot. So if you want to go the HVAC route, that works too. But these trades are in demand nationally. They're nationally. And we've had candidates come to us. We've had international candidates come to us from Japan, from Germany, from Alaska, from the Caribbean, and then everything in between. So, if you are outside, if your residence is outside 30 miles from our training center, then we scholarship you lodging. We'll put you up while you're here with us. So, you're basically going to get 3 hots and a cot because we choose hotels that have a lobby breakfast. So on the way out the door, you can grab something. And then we serve everybody lunch each training day. And then the hotels typically will have kind of a late afternoon lobby happy hour where there's heavy hors d'oeuvres. So, 3 hots and a cot for the 7 weeks that you're with us, and your weekends are off. So if you need to work on the weekends, if you want to go home on the weekends, you can do whatever you want on the weekend. You want to enjoy Dallas, do whatever you want. So the fact that we're based here, it's centrally located in the country, two great airports with DFW and Love Field, two great airlines with American and with Southwest. Or if you're in the car driving, great. But we draw from all over the country. We place from all over the country.
That is that's incredible. See, the program you've put together is a testament to the culture of your company, that you care so deeply about people being able to come into your program and succeed, and making it as open as possible for all types of folks from all types of places. And you've gone the extra mile to even think through like lodging and the meal situation, and you didn't have to do all that stuff. You could just say, come to our school, you're on your own, but we're doing our part inside of our walls. But you're going beyond that, and that is a beautiful thing. Um, I really appreciate what you're doing, man.
I mean, in the military, I was taught mission first, soldiers always. So we've really tried to incorporate that ethos in our company. And the other thing that you're taught is you train how you fight. So we try to make it as realistic as we possibly can, because we want you going out there and not being surprised by as much as possible. We put everybody on the roof day one. We're going to find out if you're scared of heights day one, and we're going to work with you. We're going to help you with the ladder. We're going to show you how to do it. But you're going on the roof, whether it's 97 degrees or 27 degrees. We're going to put you in a uniform. We want you to be safe, and we want you to look good. We want you to look good. We want you to look professional. We're going to issue the tools. The tools are going to be, what you use. Those are going to be your weapons, let's say. So, equip, train, credential, place. And all of this is about mission first, soldiers always. All of this is train how you fight. We just have tried to maintain this, everything is about the student outcome. Everything we do with the student experience is about the student outcome. We want you to launch your career. We want Forge Now to be a launching pad. We want Forge Now to be a game changer for your life, such that we help you change your life, launch your career. And then we want you to go out. We want you to have impact in those households and communities. We want you coaching Little League. We want you teaching Sunday school. We want you to be free. I said earlier that, debt is economic slavery. Well, what's liberation is having that recurring income each month that pays those bills. You've built up something where, hey, I know I'm good. I'm going to be plus this month and next month and next month. And you can do that in trades.
That's fantastic. I just think what you guys are doing is so important. I applaud you for building a culture and a company like this that truly cares. I mean, you can see it in the way that you speak about it and the way you've structured your work. And I also love the fact that the train how you fight, like preparing people, because I'd imagine this is probably the biggest reason why the attrition rate is so high for untrained folks, is they get in there like, oh, it's too hot, or I'm afraid of height. You don't know it till you get in the job, and now you're out of here. So I love that you prepare people. What would you say is the biggest reason folks don't succeed when they go down this path? Like, what are some of the most common things that people should start thinking differently about?
Attendance. So we have an internal regulation. There's also some government regulations, but internally, we don't allow our candidates to miss 10% of training. Now, life happens. Somebody gets sick, or you have a flat tire. Life happens. But over the course of 7 weeks, you can't miss more than 10% of the training. And all of this is to prepare you for the real world. If you miss more than 10% of work, your employer is going to fire you. Yeah. And typically the attendance, anybody who has trouble with attendance, it's some externality. It's some externality that is keeping you from showing up on time. Now, the other side of this coin is for those who do. And we have a graduation rate of 87%. We hold people accountable. They know the expectation up front, and we want them to get what they're paying for. Well, they're paying for the training. We want you to be there at the training. So the other side of this coin is the employers that hire our graduates. They'll tell us, hey, it's great that they've got the basic skills. I know they need supervision. I know they need to learn a whole lot more. It's great that they've got their basic skills, which, by the way, include OSHA train, So they're going to learn how to operate in a safe environment. The employer loves that. That's going to help them on their insurance. They've got EPA training. So that's going to help the employer as well. So that's great. They show up with a complete tool set. That's great. The employer doesn't have to buy that. But what the employer will tell us is, you're telling me that he or she showed up on time, on task, in uniform for training at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday for 7 weeks and trained a full day, they're out. And it's just the nature, number one, of young people. Number two, larger conversation as far as our country's labor pool and our country's work ethic. Different conversation, larger conversation. But employers will say, hey, he showed up on time, on task, in uniform, in a complete uniform, full set of tools at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. He did that for 7 weeks. He's up.
That makes complete sense. That's you're looking for those winners that you can trust with your company brand and send into customer homes, and that makes complete sense. That is a standout attribute of your students.
We're going to do some cool things. We're starting to adjust some of our programming, and we're really excited about this. We're actually going to make the program even more intense. Because what we hear from our candidates and what we hear from the employers is, I got to have them sooner, as fast as you can get. Like, I'm turning business away because I don't have the talent to do the work. So we're in the process of moving from 7 weeks to 6 weeks. So it's just going to become more intense, but you're going to get out there and start making money sooner as well. And the employer will have you sooner. But what we're also going to do is we're going to create enhancement modules for the afternoons, and they'll be voluntary. But it's going to be something like CPR. Go ahead and take your CPR training and get certified for the CPR. Language training. Maybe it's for English. Maybe it's something other than English. Personal finance. Just the basics of household economics, personal finance. Wellness. Instead of having that Slurpee, that 3,000 calorie Slurpee, for lunch, eat a hard-boiled egg. I mean, talk about substance abuse, talk about living a healthy lifestyle, how to have a wellness project. And all of this comes back to focusing on student experience to drive a successful student outcome. And that's just not what the market, the historical paths of the trades, that's not been their priority. Yeah. That's fine. It is going to be ours. So when you come to Forge Now, you're going to get the basic skills. You're going to get the apprentice level skills. You're going to get your certification. So you're going to get OSHA, you're going to get EPA, you're going to get different certifications within each trade. You're going to get a complete tool set. You're going to get all of your protective equipment. And you're going to get more. You're going to get these enhancement modules where if you want to spend another hour at the training center and learn how to do CPR or learn household finance or learn language, those kind of things, we're going to start adding these things in for those people that just want more.
Incredible. Yeah, you're taking care of, it's like a 360 around their life to make sure that you're really giving them the optimizing for success in all the ways that they could be failure points.
If I can get one message across, other than we believe in what we're doing at Forge Now and want more folks to come to us, forgenow.com. If I can get one other thing across, it's we the people have to wake up, and we the people have to respect and appreciate, value this community. This community is important to our country. This community of the trades, they are essential. They are absolutely critical to our country, and we need to start respecting them and valuing them, because I'm telling you, it's a demographic time bomb where it's going to be really hard for us to catch up. And Force Now is not going to train 9 million people, but we're going to train as many as we can, and we want to be part of the solution.
What keeps you up at night right now? What problems are you facing? You look at it, as a business, or look at the industry in general, that you really want to solve?
I'll tell you what doesn't keep me up at night, and then I'll try to answer your question. What doesn't keep me up at night is there a demand for what we're producing? I've slept every night since we founded this business, that there is a demand for what we're doing. The historical past of the trades are not meeting demand. So if we can play a role in putting more capacity, more talent into the system, there will be people to hire them. So I've never not slept because I've been worried about that. I think probably if anything, everything's taken more time and money than I ever thought. Everything in my life has taken more time and money. And when we have these ideas about, adding enhancement modules or, I had 2 meetings today talking about should we have other locations in other markets. Uh,
I was going to ask you that.
Maybe is the answer. I've had 2 meetings today, but end of this week, I'll probably have 4 or 5 meetings about that topic. Um, what we've done in the past is we've gone back to the military model of centralized, large, efficient training centers. And if we can get the residence portion down to 6 weeks, that goes pretty quickly. There's some other things that we've kind of kicked around, maybe some distance delivery on certain parts of the program. But the answer is I don't know if we'll have multi-site. Uh, Again, Dallas isn't a bad place to spend 6 weeks, and it's a pretty easy place to get to. And I think there's something cool about being part of a larger program. That, if we had one big program where you've got, a lot of classmates and the energy that's behind that, or the friends you're going to make, the contacts you're going to make, you want to go back home, wherever home is, awesome, terrific. You're always going to have a buddy somewhere else in the trades. So, I don't know. I since I left the military, this has been the most fulfilling endeavor of my career because we are changing lives, launching careers, and literally impacting millions of households. And I sleep pretty good.
That's beautiful. That is a beautiful answer. Oh man, I want to send a message out to anybody who might be watching this or listening right now. If you're struggling, you feel stuck, you're frustrated, maybe you're facing that pile of bills and you're trying to figure out what's next for me. You want to future-proof your income, knowing that things are going to change in this country and with the opportunities that are available with tech and AI and things changing all around us. This is a stable, reliable resource. At the very least, get the training, get the certifications, have it in your back pocket. So you can leverage that always to take care of yourself and take care of your family. And you don't need permission to get your life back. You just need a path. And it sounds to me like Forge Now is one of the best paths that you can take if you want to empower yourself. You don't need a degree to be valuable. You just need that path. You just need clarity. And you need to know how to put it into action. And Rob and his team at Forge Now are definitely part of the solution and helping folks do that. So Rob, thank you so much for being here today, man. This was a pleasure. I'm grateful that I know about you now personally. And I'm excited for more people to learn about your program and get involved and help change their lives. So thank you.
Thank you, Dion. Thank you for raising the awareness. It's a national security priority.
It certainly is. You've changed my mind today and opened my eyes to viewing this whole industry in a completely new light. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a huge favor and subscribe. Leave some comments below or some feedback so that I can continue to improve and deliver better content to you guys. I want to provide as much value as I can, but I need to know how it's working or what's not working. So I'd really appreciate that. And if you have an idea for a show or you have a guest you'd love to see, pop them in the comments. I'll do my best to make it happen. I will see you next week. In the meantime, don't get stagnant. Keep shifting.